Pre-COVID, we used to just, our executive team would get together for dinner, give them a bottle of champagne to take home for the holidays, and thanks for a really great year. What I did the first year that reopened is I said to each of them, I want to do something just with you. And here are 3 ideas for what I'd like to do, but if you've got another idea. And it took me through till August of the next year to get that one touch point. But boy, did that make a difference. Somebody wanted to go for a foot massage, so we spent an hour and a half having a foot massage and talking. Somebody else wanted to go out walking with their dogs and my dogs. And again, it was just something off the beaten trail to do, and they don't want to go back to group dinners anymore at Christmas, so I'm going to be through till August of this year trying to get through those. But it's just, it was just a tiny tweak, and it just has made such an impact in terms of having some personal quality time with folks, and you can fit it into your schedule. You just need to spread it out. So,
even as an employer, we're trying to make the availability of mental health supports a much more prominent part of our benefits program, and actually encouraging them to take the time that they need to spend on mental wellness, because that hasn't really been a focus. And even there was an article, Abacus I think did a survey, and by demographic it was very interesting, right? Those below 30, this has almost become a way that they operate and they live. But those 45 and older, I think less than 20% actually spend any time on their mental health, right? So I'm in that age group that spends very little time, so challenging myself to spend more time on mental health is something that I think is very important, and is really important for all ages. And the other thing for my team, one thing I felt we lost a lot during the pandemic was how much time we were spending remote, and those connections and those relationships and just the team building, you just couldn't replicate it, right? Much more deliberate now that we're starting to return to the office about in-person moments, off-sites, with the leadership team and their spouses.
Early on, I felt what I was missing, and by extension the team, on virtual calls, was the small talk. You just miss it's one thing in an office, you breeze into a meeting with a conference room, there are 10 people in the room, you get to the point, you breeze out. Everyone has other sources. You're sitting in a virtual meeting and you literally switch on and you get straight into rat-a-tat. So we started early on forcing the small talk, forcing the how are the dogs? I've told so many bad jokes, and my team has been gracious enough to laugh at them. But then you do that for 2 or 3 months, and then they take that mood.
I galvanize around the word purpose. If you ever thought purpose was important in a company, the pandemic just proved it. In Pure Leader's case, I mentioned this whole pride and purpose, how everybody felt. It was unbelievable how much it helped just the leadership team out. And you mentioned the word empathy. Empathy was a big word used. I think it's carrying on still. I think the wellness, the empathy, the health, the people focus, we already had that. A number of people that I've looked to, even recruit recently, have said, to me even, they said, look, we see this in our companies now, but you were doing it before the pandemic. So it's almost like you can't really, I thought that was an interesting point back to me, that had you had not been doing that and just sort of reacted late, well, you're one of the many that are doing this now. So to me, it was all about generating this idea of we have a purpose, and all good kind of came from that. It formed a culture.